Alexa, living room light on. What's going on, guys? What's going on? Alexa, off. Oh my God, sorry. What's up, guys? Happy Thursday. Hopefully you guys are having a good Thursday. It is... What's up, Josie? It's good to see you all. We have a big live tonight with Seth Barnett, which is Ashley Barnett's brother. Happy Friday Eve. So we have a really good live there going on. We're going to bring awareness to Ashley. So really, really important. So if you guys have an opportunity, please make sure that you are on that live tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Hey, Jocelyn. So if you cannot make that live tonight, it will be recorded. So you guys will have it. It will be uploaded to YouTube. So you guys will have an opportunity to listen in on what we discuss and where the questions and answers are going to be going and flowing. So that's that. Now, I know a lot of people are like, okay, we know this is Amy. We now know, you're good, Jenny. We now know this is Amy. We now know that this is Ashley. Hey, Kylie. The reason we're still talking about these cases is because we're trying to bring as much, hey, Tracy, what's up, Susie? We're trying to bring as much awareness as we possibly can to these cases. Hey, Cindy. I do believe that we are going to get answers for them both. They are two completely different cases. However, they are very intertwined, and I'll go into that shortly. But I'm seeing a lot of people like kind of moving away from Amy Bradley, this and that. Truthfully, we don't know what's happening with the DC meetings. Remember I said Brad went to DC. What's up, Terry? What's up, guys? Brad went to DC about 2 weeks ago now. We don't have any updates on that. So we're going to get there. The only other new information we have is we talked about dogs being brought onto the ship, and we also talked about her sandals. So what's up, Daisy? So that's the new information. I know a lot of people, Sabine Rose, how you doing? I know a lot of people don't know a lot about that information. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. But, sorry guys, I'm eating dried mango. I haven't eaten this morning. Very good for you. Actually, it's probably not. Anyways, hey, Olivia. So, I'm still invested I'm still invested on Amy Bradley. I'm invested in Ashley Barnett and also Maura Murray. You guys know that. As we get a whole bunch more people in here, I'm going to give you guys an update on Maura Murray, but I want to get a bunch more people in here. So keep tapping that screen. We are getting closer to 10K. Thanks, Jenny Lynn. Your entire sugar intake for the day is in this little piece of dried mango, by the way. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. So, anyone have any questions specifically about anything I've said so far? As I keep throwing it back. Hey, Petra. And I'm done. I'm finished. Anyone have anything specific that I've already talked about in regards to, I usually don't ever eat in a live, but I haven't eaten and I become like very hangry if I don't eat. So is there any questions that you guys have that I've brought up about Amy Bradley or Ashley Barnett? I'd like to open it up with the Q&A. All the new followers, thank you so much. But I'd like to do a quick little Q&A to see if you guys have any specific questions regarding Amy Bradley, Ashley Barnett, anything that I just kind of went into. You good, Petra? So, Carrie, this is a new account. Yes, because my last account, Carrie, was hacked. The original Laugh and Grind account was hacked, if you guys didn't know. So please report that old account as fraud scam, because they do take some of the content and repost it. Just keep doing that, and then, yes, follow here. But, yes, this is the new account. So, Kylie, the D.C. meeting. So, Brad went to D.C., and was meeting with some people there. We don't know much about who he was meeting with. What's up, Bronco? But we do know that he had a meeting, and it was very positive. From what we understand from him and Sandy Ann, his good friend, was, hey, Rach, was that the people that reached out to the Bradleys to ask their permission to talk about Amy Bradley, those are the people that are going to be releasing the information about what that meeting in D.C. entailed. So we don't know the details there, Kylie, but we should know soon. I know I said within like a week, It's been a couple weeks. I've been in touch with Brad, so I haven't asked him that question. I'm trying to figure out when we're going to be live. Hey, Whitney. But I'll get those answers. If you guys don't know who this is, I know there was a couple questions about who's the person next to Amy. This is Ashley Barnett. Ashley Barnett went on a cruise ship down in the Gulf of Mexico in 2005. She was found, but she was found with illegal rugs in her system. From what we understand, she went with her friends and boyfriend at the time. The boyfriend brought the exact same illegal rugs in a NyQuil bottle, like a medicine bottle, and it happened to be the same rugs that were found in her system during her autopsy, in her toxicology report, excuse me. So she was found OD'd, but she had zero history of ever doing illegal substances ever. The boyfriend at the time and the friends have kind of went off grid. They won't answer any questions anymore. And since this happened on a cruise ship, it's international waters, which means it's not tied to an investigation. Hey, Chicka Bean, it's not tied to local and state or federal investigators, nothing like that. So, yes, there was fingerprints on the bottle altogether. Yes, there was fingerprints everywhere. So that's why it's really tough, because they don't know what happened. Do you think we'll have more information on Amy Bradley by the first of the year? 100%. Yes, we are getting more answers and information weekly. You guys already know that I put out some pretty invaluable information out there that Brad and Sandy Ann both said no one's ever thought of this. So we're getting there. We're getting there, but it's going to take time. But I do believe, yes, by the first of the year, we'll have a lot more information. Steph, we don't know. Those are the answers that we don't know. So I was pretty clear with Seth. We have a live tonight with Seth at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And Paula, you said never thought of what? What were you referring to? But here's the thing. We already found her. She was found OD'd on the ship. So her body has been, her body has been found and located. However, we need to know how it happened. And we don't know how it happened. Oh, okay, Paul, I'll tell you in 1 second. We don't know what happened yet. Like, we don't. Like, could it have been an accident? 100%. Was it on purpose? 100%. Like, we don't know. But we need to get answers. And the only way we're going to get answers is if we apply pressure to the boyfriend at the time. He's an ex-boyfriend, obviously, now. And the friends that were there. We have to apply the pressure. Eventually, someone is going to crack. That's how you get anything to crack. You got to apply pressure. So that's where we're at there. Paula, if you're still listening, what I'm referring to is, no, there was no bruises, Cindy. What I'm referring to here with Amy Bradley is by the end of the year, we will get more information on Amy. I was able to bring up a couple of pieces of invaluable information to Brad and Sandy just last week about her sandals. No one's ever thought about that or even brought that to their attention. So, I think, there it is. There's Whitney. So we're going to have answers by the end of this year. I don't know if they're going to be positive or negative, but we will have answers. Lady D, why are you mentioning Maura? Lady D, I don't know where you're going with that question. They did not find Amy Bradley's body as of yet, no. Like I said, they did go to Washington, D.C. a couple of weeks ago. They had a meeting. We do not know with whom, and we don't know the outcome of that. But we will definitely get more information on that as soon as we can. Yes, Seth's the live tonight with Ashley Barnett's brother. Seth will be live. Yes. Lady D, we're going to go into Maura Murray in about 30 minutes. Right now, I'm bringing the awareness to these two, and then I'm going to talk about the new information regarding Maura Murray. Does anyone know the new information that I was talking about Amy Bradley? I think it's Ulissa, and I saw another couple of people asking questions about the sandals. Do you guys know what I'm talking about when I talk about the sandals? About where they were located? Or the shoes, whatever you want to call them? No? Okay. So there's yeses and nos. So I think the fact that there's yeses and nos, I'm going to go into it again just because there are a lot of new people. So when it comes down to the sandals, let me put it this way. Everyone always mentioned that the sandals were on the balcony. That's all we've ever heard. The sandals were on the balcony. The sandals were on the balcony. The sandals were on the balcony. That's a big thing. When I asked Brad about this, he had this like crazy realization Because my question was, hey, when did you see the sandals? Because did you see them when you guys woke up, or did you guys see them when you got back to the room? Because if your room was unattended for so long, there's a good chance they could have been, maybe they were planted there, or maybe Amy came back, something. When did you see him? And he goes, you're the only one that's ever mentioned this. We've never thought about this. He goes, I just asked mom and dad, and none of us ever saw the sandals on the balcony. None of us. And of course I said, well, you guys said that you saw them on the balcony. He goes, we only said that because cruise ship security and the attorneys were adamant they were on the balcony. He goes, but I just asked my mom and dad, and none of them ever remember seeing those shoes on the balcony, the sandals on the balcony. I did ask him, are those the same sandals as she was wearing at the disco when she was dancing, or was it different? Hey, Joanne. And he said, no, those were the same ones. I said, okay, so you never saw them. He said, no, we only saw them when we unpacked our luggage. The reason that's important, guys, is because how could that never have come up? He just said, I've never thought about it. He said, I can't believe the realization that none of us ever thought about that. So he said, when we got home, that's when we unpacked the luggage and we saw the sandals. He goes, the sandals are technically sitting next to my mother's bed on the floor next to the bed. He was very clear about that. And I said, well, how did you guys not know? And he goes, well, because we didn't pack our stuff. Yes, Joe, I'll get into that. He goes, we didn't pack our stuff. He said the cruise ship packed the stuff. They sent staff to pack all their luggage because they were in no position to do it. He said they delivered it to Richmond Airport, and then Richmond Airport sent it directly to their house. He said, when we opened it up, that's when we saw her sandals. He goes, we've never, ever, ever seen them on the balcony, ever. He goes, we never did. He goes, we only said they were there because that's what cruise ship security, what's up, Julie? And that's what the attorneys kept talking about, saying that they were on. He goes, but we never actually saw them. There's more, but I want to take a quick breath there and see if you guys have any questions. Emily, when they got back on the boat, did they get a different room? Yes, Emily, they went into a completely different room. Yep. So they were in a certain room. I think it was 8564, room 8654. When they got back onto the ship, they were in a completely different room. And then let's hear that she didn't leave the room. Yes, Gigi. Yes. Did they pack her shirt she left on the chair? Yes. Yep, I asked those questions already. Yep, they did. So I think a lot of people are like wondering, like, what is the significance of the shoes, whether they were on the balcony or not? Like, what's your point? Well, the shoes being on the balcony would exemplify that she went overboard or she was thrown overboard because her shoes were left there. She took off her shoes. She wasn't going to leave the boat without her shoes on or leave the room without her shoes on. However, knowing now that the family confirmed, we've never saw her shoes there ever. We can now suspect, again, we have to suspect it. We can't say it happened because we weren't there. But we can now suspect that she did, in fact, potentially leave that room that morning, which means she wasn't thrown overboard, which means she didn't go overboard accidentally or on purpose. She then left the room, took her sandals with her, and left the room. That can now suspect us to prove or assume that she did, in fact, leave that room. Because the family said we never saw those sandals there. There's one more bit of information, guys, regarding the sandals that also can help you guys and me prove that those sandals were not on the balcony. If you guys need me to get into detail there, just say yes. One more time. There's another big detail there that can help us prove that those sandals were not on the balcony. I can dive into detail there, but you guys just say yes like you're already doing. Okay, so I can dive into that. Let me ask you this. Well, let me say this. Brad said the only reason why we brought it up and we kept saying that they were on the balcony was because cruise ship security and the attorneys kept saying that's where they were, that's where they were. FBI also said they were seen on the balcony. Now, here's my question. When did the cruise ship attorneys or FBI get to the cruise ship? Do you guys know? When did the attorneys and the FBI get to the cruise ship? Do you guys know? And I'll answer your questions, guys, in a minute. This is pretty important. When did the cruise ship attorneys and FBI get to the ship? So far, you're all pretty accurate. About 2 days later. Now, it doesn't matter, guys, if it was 2 days, 3 days, or the next day. Do you know why it doesn't matter, guys? Because at 6 p.m. that night on March 24th, 1998, the Bradleys left the ship and they went to the island of Curacao. Their luggage was already packed at that time, which means the sandals were not on the balcony. They were already packed in the luggage. Because Brad was very clear when we opened up our luggage, when we got home, everything was there for us. Everything was already there. So on March 24th, 1998, at 6 p.m., they had already left the ship, which means all of their belongings were taken. They were already taken and put into the luggage. So when the attorneys got there 2 days later, when the FBI got there 2 days later, they're the ones that are saying, yeah, that's where her shoes were on the balcony. Well, how would you know that? If you got there on March 26, 1998, but the Bradleys were off the ship March 24th of 1998, 2 days prior to you guys getting there, then how the hell did you say or know that the shoes were there? The reason it was said, guys, just in case you know, just like I think it's Margie just said, the FBI and the attorneys were basing everything off what the cruise ship said. You're probably also wondering, did they take pictures to prove where they were? No, they did not. On international waters, they can't just start taking pictures of these things because that begins an investigation, and legally they cannot do that. You cannot start an investigation on international waters because they don't know whose toes they're going to be stepping on. They don't know whose jurisdiction it is. When you guys are on international waters, there's zero jurisdiction. Nobody knows who's supposed to take over the case and who's going to be running point, who's the OIC. Does everyone know who an OIC is here? Does anyone know the acronym of OIC? They don't know who the OIC is overlooking this case. If you don't know, an OIC is an officer in charge. Okay, that's what an OIC is, officer in charge. Meaning that if they don't know who the officer in charge is, they don't know who's going to be leading the investigation. So they don't start to take those pictures. They can't do it. So everything that we know about these shoes or sandals that were on the balcony, this is all hearsay. Because somebody said it, which would be the cruise ship security said they were on the balcony. However, Sarah, if they were on the balcony and there was no pictures taken, we would need someone else to confirm that they were there. Don't you guys think the family would have been able to confirm if the shoes were on the balcony or not? What do you guys think? Don't you think if the sandals or shoes were actually on the balcony, don't you think the family would have been able to confirm that? Don't you think they would have seen them? Don't you think something in their mind probably would have been, oh, hey, where were the sandals or the shoes she was wearing last night? Don't you think they would have? And here's another thing. If you're like, well, no, then maybe they didn't think of that. Well, let me ask you it in a different way. Where was the last place Amy Bradley was seen in regards to the room? Where was the last place Amy Bradley was seen in regards to the room? I'll wait for your answers. Keep going, guys, with those answers. Keep going. The last place she was seen in regards to the room. In regards to the room, Alyssa. Everybody is correct. It is, besides a couple of you, the balcony. In regards to the room, she was last seen on the balcony from her father. Remember, he said he saw her legs and feet? Don't you think Brad, who went to bed and left her on the balcony, don't you think Ron Bradley, who saw her legs and feet on the balcony, don't you think they probably popped their head onto the balcony area and probably would have seen her shoes there? Don't you think they would have been able to confirm that at that point? Don't you think that's a detail they would have picked up on? What do you think? Yeah, they would have went out there. Do you guys know how many things were out on the balcony at that time? A chair, a table. 3 items. The 4th item, shoes, allegedly. Guys, they weren't looking into a room that had all this stuff everywhere and they missed a little detail. They went on a balcony that had 3 items, a chair, and a table. There's no doubt in my mind that they probably looked around real quick and they would have seen the shoes. They would have seen them, but they didn't. So that's why I'm saying, in my humble opinion, those shoes were never there. They were never, ever there, okay? They were put there later on, somehow, some way, whether they were planted there, something, they were put back there at some point. Now, I said a lot. Do you guys have any questions about anything I just said? Marge, but why? We don't know the why. Why would those be put there? We don't know the why. We truly don't know. Could we assume that it was something nefarious? Yes. Could we assume that it had to do with Some form of cover-up, yes, but we don't know that to be factual or to be truthful yet. We don't know that yet. Is it Coconut Boy? We don't know who did it, but right now we're starting to really point towards the ship knowing a lot more than they're leading off. A lot more than they're leading off. Frogman Smith, this is Amy Bradley. She went missing March 24th, 1998 off a Royal Caribbean Rhapsody of the Seas cruise liner. This is Ashley Barnett. She was on a completely different cruise, which I cannot name for legal reasons because of what the family said, but another cruise liner in Mexico. But she was found with illegal substances in her system. But she was found. Right? Yeah, Trisha, 100%. You know, there's a lot of stuff out there about the cruise ship, but I can tell you guys right now, the cruise ship does know more. Yes, Jayla, she was found deceased in the room, yes. Yes, the staff packed their luggage when they got off to get onto the island of Curacao the day she went missing. So if you guys don't know, she went missing March 24th, 1998. That's when she went missing. The Bradley family got off the ship at around 6 p.m. on March 24th, 1998. All of their belongings were already packed by the cruise ship members. Brad said we were in no position to pack. You know, we had a lot going on, so they packed it for us. That's what he said. Now, hey, Kasha. Now, knowing that everything was already packed in that luggage. They didn't open up the luggage. He literally said, we didn't change into anything. We had the shirts on our backs, and that was it. We were trying to find Amy. Then they went back to the ship on March 26th, 1998. And that's when they were greeted by FBI and the attorneys. And I want to go into that a little bit further. Any questions so far? What do you guys, let's make sure if you have any specific questions so far, something I haven't already answered. I will do recaps temporarily throughout the live, but is there any specific questions that you guys have that I said that you guys need more clarity on? I did see something about the girls at the elevator. I'm referring to the last time that she was seen in regards to the room. The balcony was the last time she was seen in regards to the room. If you guys don't know, this is Ashley Barnett. She went on a cruise in 2005 in the Gulf of Mexico. She was found with illegal substances in her system. But we can go into that. Yes, guys, some of my previous lives I record and I put them on my YouTube channel, which you can see is right here. And then I also upload other videos as well. There's the podcast. Season 1 is Karen Reed. Season 2, Amy Bradley. And Season 3 is Maura Murray. Luna Lux. No, so she was found deceased and she has not been found yet. Yeah, I don't think she jumped either. Amy was not seen in different places. Hey, Melissa. Amy was not seen in different places. Amy was allegedly seen in different places, but she wasn't factually seen in different places. Rachel, yes, I believe Amy Bradley was still on that ship when the family got off. I do. I think the family got off to continue looking for her. Thanks, Julie. I do believe that she was still on that ship. I believe the family couldn't find her. I also believe that the ship didn't do a full-on search. We ended up finding that out later to be true, that they did not do an all-out search. So I believe she was still on that ship. The family got off to look for her, and I believe at that point, when they were in transit from one location to the next, that's when she was taken off the ship. Connie, I think one family member should have stayed on the ship. That would have been dangerous. There's strength in numbers. It's safer for them to all be together rather than having one on the ship, one on the island, and one on the next, at the next location. So that's why it wouldn't have made sense for one family member to stay on the ship. Yes, Dee, we do know her pictures were taken. Yep, we do know that. When do you think Amy left the room and who with? Maya, I think she left the room around 6 o'clock in the morning. I believe that she went to go buy something or get something or even if it was just go get coffee. She took her lighter, she took her cigarette, she took her key card, and she took the money that she had with her. And she obviously took her shoes from what we know. So she was taking all those things. So I think she had money with her to go buy something. It could have been coffee for all we know. But I believe that she ran into someone or someone ran into her. I believe there was a level of trust, and the trust was betrayed and broken. Was that Kevin McGrath man ever found from the Carnival cruise ship? Alyssa, I do not know that answer, the answer to that question. Connie, in case she was still on the ship. So Connie, just because leaving one person on the cruise ship does not mean that they would be able to find her. If this was legitimate trafficking or an abduction or kidnapping, whatever wording you want to use, she's not going to be in an area that just one person could start looking for her. She would be in an area you wouldn't know about. So even putting one person or 10 people on the cruise ship, you wouldn't find her. She would be put in areas that regular passengers would not be allowed to check. Yeah, Unsolved Mystery is a good one. Another one with Amy Bradley would be the Netflix documentary and the Hulu documentary. Do you think the statement by the girls that saw her around 6 a.m. is true? Do you want my personal opinion on that, or do you want the we're live with 765 people opinion? You tell me and I'll give you that answer. Guys, if you haven't followed yet, guys, I greatly appreciate it. All the new followers, I appreciate you. It means a lot. The support is everything. So thank you guys for all the new followers. My honest and true opinion is I'm unsure not that they were honest or lying to us. I don't think that their memory is that great. And I don't know how credible it would be. My opinion is they're not so credible. I don't think they were lying, but I don't know how credible they are. I think it was a long time ago. I think the fact that one of those girls does not want to speak about it, she doesn't want to speak publicly. I know there's, they're nervous about being public and stuff like that. I get that. But at one point they said, from what we understand, that they were unsure if this happened at like 6 a.m. or like earlier in the night. That really sticks with me. So I don't know how credible they are. When they saw her running on the top deck, Susie, that was earlier in the night before the disco. That was during the Dancing Under the Stars night. Remember there was like a pool party and stuff before they went to the disco where she was dancing with Yellow? That was before she was dancing with Yellow. But again, I don't even know if that was her. It does look like a child. I looked into it. It's hard to say, but I'm unsure if it's her, but it definitely looks like her. Tamaris, I agree. I think somebody 100% lured her somewhere. I do believe that there was a level of trust that was broken. What about Senorita Kidnapped? When did someone say that? Was it on the ship? So it was the next morning. It was like Elizabeth was there. The other bartender was there. And then there was Senorita Kidnapped. When I brought that up in the live, I think Sandy Ann was the one that hopped in and said, because my answer was, I just don't know how believable that is, because if they were doing something illegal and someone's running around saying someone got kidnapped, they're probably going to say, go get her and shut her up. Hey, Fizzy Evans. But Sandy Ann popped on. Sandy Ann is a personal friend of the Bradleys and said, well, no, what happened was she was taken to the back of the bar and never seen again. So I said, oh, okay. And I said, well, I guess that's the answer, because guys, obviously I don't know the other answers. That's the only answer we have. But I was like, we haven't seen or heard from that woman ever since. Hey, Nina, we haven't seen or heard from, I was mean to her. I wasn't mean to her. I just misunderstood Nina. Me and Nina are friends. Thanks, Nina, for coming back, though. Appreciate you. But yeah, I don't have any other additional information when it comes down to that. Yeah, Nina, remember we were talking? I was like, oh, you do you not agree with me? And you're like, no, I agree with you. I was like, whoops. So thank you. Thank you for that. So this woman is not missing. So Ashley Barnett is not missing. She was found deceased on the ship. Emily, so we were told she testified, but we do not know that to be true because we have no way to prove it. So that's the big thing. I think a lot of people don't understand that, but that's the big thing, guys, is we have a lot of information that we've heard, but we don't have enough proof. For example, yes, Jessie Lynn. For example, is it Ella T? She was found deceased on a cruise ship in 2005, and she had illegal substances in her body, in her system. That's how she OD'd from them. But the truth is, guys, like we don't have a lot of the facts. We have a lot of hearsay, but it's not that like, we can't take hearsay. I mean, you guys know that every single statement is hearsay until we can prove it. Do you guys agree with that statement? Amy's life, not yours. So there is security on cruise ships, but there's no law enforcement. Sorry, you said a woman who said there was a kidnapping was never found again. Yes, Loki and Queso, yes. The woman who said Senorita kidnapped, she was never seen from again. She was apparently pushed into the back of the bar area and never seen from again. Never seen or heard from again. Yep. Correct. Just because it's hearsay doesn't mean it's not true. 100%. 100%. So that's what I was going to go into. Do you think it's possible she doesn't want to be found? No, Skymun, because if that is true that she was pushed into the back of the bar and never spoken or seen from again, I don't think it's possible that she doesn't want to be found. I think that something happened. When it comes to Amy, I don't think Amy truly knows. I don't think she truly remembers her life before being taken if she was truly kidnapped. So that's how I feel about that. So real quick, guys, there is no police, guys, on cruise ships, especially international cruise ships. There is no police. The reason there's no police is because it is international and there is no way to know who has jurisdiction and who doesn't. Gigi, I was a purser for Carnival in the 2000s and you couldn't move without being accounted for. So Gigi, back in 1998, I spoke to a couple passengers that were on that cruise ship and they all said the same thing at different times. They didn't check your key card information. They didn't check your ID. You were able to go back and forth on and off the ship whenever you wanted to. They just weren't. After 9/11, they were very, very like strong on security. But prior to that, things were a little bit more widespread. Percy, yes, this is Amy Bradley. She went missing in March 1998 off a Royal Caribbean cruise liner. There's two theories. One, she went overboard. Whether she was thrown overboard or what, she went overboard. That's one theory. Theory two, she was taken, kidnapped, abducted. She got off the ship somehow, some way. Those are the two theories. I do have a third theory that I brought up yesterday, but we can go into that in a minute. Lauren, why do you think people feel so strongly that she fell? So, Lauren, I think, hey, true to that, I think a lot of people, Lauren, feel so strongly that she fell or was thrown overboard, whatever, because it's easy. A lot of people are pointing their finger at the family because it's easy. I think people forget the fact that, listen, I'm going to be honest. I don't know if Brad's listening. Sometimes he does, and then he'll like message me afterwards and be like, hey, I agree. I don't think the way Brad answered questions at the very beginning of this, like when the documentary first came out, I don't think the way Brad answered the questions and the way he went after people that didn't believe him, I don't think that was good PR. I don't think that was right. And I told him that straight up. I said, you have to be willing to understand that people are not going to agree with you. You can't get mad at them. You can't attack them. You can't do those things because you're going to look guilty. You can't do that. He goes, yeah, but it's not easy being told that you unalived your sister. Or you unalived, or my dad unalived his daughter. I go, I 100% agree. But I think a lot of people took the way Brad reacted when people went against him and thought immediately he's at fault. He's at fault. The father's at fault. They're sketchy. Look at the way they're acting. I think that's the reason why people immediately point the finger at them. And to Lauren, to answer your question, it's easy to say, yeah, well, Brad and Ron were the last ones that saw her alive. And that's why she went over, and they didn't like the fact that she was gay, and they were mad at her, stuff like that. So I believe that's the reason why people think, oh, she definitely went over. However, Lauren, and this is a long-winded answer. Hopefully you're still listening. We have no proof that she went overboard. We have no body that washed up. We have no body fragments that washed up. We don't have bone fragments that washed up. And here's the big one. We don't have clothing that washed up. Nothing. You're welcome, Lauren. We have nothing that washed up. Nothing. So if she did go overboard, we would have had something. Even the chief of police in Curacao said we would have something. We would have something, and we have nothing. And he said, I'm confident she didn't go overboard. Sharks, Lisa, they might, hey, Elizabeth, they might take like an arm or a limb or a leg, an ear. they're not going to attack and rip up an entire body. And even if they did, you would still get fragments washed up. You'd get clothing washed up. You would see that. So that's why I do not believe she went overboard. So Anna, I do this a lot of times on my lives. There's almost 1,000 people on here. I'm going to pin your comment, Anna. And here's why I'm going to do it. You said now 2 or 3 times the brother did it, the brother did it. What you're doing is putting information out into the world for 900 people to look at, but you're not giving me any information. You're not giving me any proof. I'm okay if you think the brother did it, but you need to give me a reason why. I'm not going to mute you. I'm not going to block you, and neither will my mods. But if you're going to put that in my chat, then you need to back it up. So, good luck, Anna, but I need you to give me that information. If not, yes, you will be blocked and muted. So, we will wait, and I'll answer some other questions. Amy or Jenny Lynn, if she responds with actual evidence that the brother or whomever did something wrong, please post it. Or pin it, please pin it. As I move on, Percy, yes, the FBI said that they believe it. They believe at this point that that is Amy Bradley, the jazz picture. They said, like, I would put my career on it. She ain't gonna say anything. I already know that, Amy. But they didn't say 100% because they weren't able to do DNA testing. They were only able to do forensics based on facial recognition, facial reconstruction, all that. They looked at her jawline, they looked at her chin, they looked at her eye sockets, they looked at her earlobes, they looked at the length of her arm, all that stuff. That's what they did. That's what they looked at. That's all they did. So everyone, please say hi to Anna, because now Anna's just jumping around and Anna's saying, oh, maybe it's the dad too. Anna, you're the reason why people think the family's at fault, and you're the reason why people are going against the family, because you're just throwing ideas out there. Maybe the dad. Anna, maybe it was you. Maybe it was someone related to you. Would you like if I pointed the finger at you? Probably not. And you know what? There's 1,000 people on here that not really liking the way you're doing it. So it's entirely up to you of what you want to do moving on. But if you want to continue pointing to the dad or to the brother or to the family, you better come with some facts, because you're about 20 seconds away from being muted and blocked. It's your call, your decision. It's up to you. Actually, no, let me do this. Mods, leave it alone. Everyone here listening, what should happen? What should we do? Should we let Anna stay, or should we mute and block? I'm going to let the 1,100 people, I'm going to let you guys make the call. You guys do it. You guys make the call. And Amy or Jenny Lynn, you guys go based off of what everyone else wants to do. Moving on. And guys, that's not her opinion. She said the brother did it. That is not an opinion. That's a statement. Let's be very clear about the words. Anna said the brother did it. That is not an opinion. That is a statement. Correct, guys? That's a statement. The brother did it. Then when I challenged her, she said, maybe the dad. That is not an opinion, to be very, very clear. That is not an opinion. That is a statement, and that is a statement that is baseless and has no facts and no evidence to prove it. When you start saying the brother did it, and I don't even know if Anna's still here, I don't know if she's already been blocked, but I want to be very clear with everybody listening right now. If you say the brother did it, maybe the dad, that is defamation. That's literally like a legit criminal offense. It's defamation. It's not an opinion. If you said, I believe the dad did it for these reasons, I believe the brother did it for that reason, then you have to say those exact words. I believe it happened for these reasons. That's an opinion. But her statements were not opinions. They were statements. So let's move on. Now, let's jump into a little bit more about Amy Bradley. Why do I think she did not go overboard? I don't care about what FBI said. The reason I don't believe, guys, that she went overboard is because it wouldn't line up. It wouldn't line up. If she went overboard on her own, it wouldn't line up. Why, guys? If someone wants to go overboard on their own, if that happened, appreciate you, Dupree. If that happened, that means she was upset with her life. Can you guys agree? Is that a fair statement, guys? Yes or no? If she purposely went overboard to harm herself, would that mean that she was probably upset with her own life? Is that something is that a fair statement to make? Okay. Now, let's rifle off some things in her life. She got a new puppy, she just graduated college, just got a new apartment, just got a new vehicle, and just got a new job. I may have already said that. A puppy, a job, an apartment, a vehicle, graduated college. And the sixth one, she was getting back together with her girlfriend, her ex-girlfriend. When she got back, they were going to meet up. Guys, that's 6 things right off the bat that I just rifled off to you guys. That proves her life was going in the right direction. Her life was moving in a positive direction. She's not going to jump overboard with all that stuff. Guys, she was buying postcards. She was buying stuff to bring back to the people in her family, her loved ones, like the ex-girlfriend Molly. She was doing all that. Yes, Yesy. She wasn't in a negative mindset at all. She couldn't wait to get home and see her ex-girlfriend. She couldn't wait to get home and give these postcards and all these things. Right? I'll be back on Saturday in a postcard, 100%. That's why I do not believe that she went overboard. Hopefully that makes sense. Guys, there's a bunch of new followers here. I greatly appreciate it. If you haven't followed yet and you guys are still on the fence, like hopefully you don't stay on the fence, you jump over. But all the new followers, guys, I greatly appreciate you. And if you haven't followed yet, please consider following now. We're bringing a lot of awareness for Amy Bradley, bringing a lot of awareness for Ashley Barnett right here. We're doing the next case right after this. In about 5 minutes, I'm going to be flipping the screen to the next case that we're talking about. And I have a big piece of new information that I want to go over with that. The traffickers probably took her passport and she couldn't get back, and they rugged her. So even if they didn't have her passport. The passport's with the family. That's number one. Number two, even if they did take the passport, they would have brand new passports in the matter of probably 24 hours, and they would look more legitimate than anything that we could get. Lauren, what is the protocol on ships today to prevent these situations? There is no real protocol because it's still international, Lauren. So they just say, be aware of your surroundings, stay in well-lit areas. Pay attention to everything that's going on around you. It's almost things, Lauren, that we already kind of know, but there's no actual safety measures. I actually have an idea about a safety measure and I haven't revealed it yet. But I'd like to actually kind of see what you guys think. It's about 900 of you. I want to run an idea by you guys and I want to see what you guys have to say. But can you guys let me know what you think? Are you guys cool that, are you guys cool with me giving you the idea that I have of how cruise ships could be, how they can prevent problems from happening? No, Estelle, she wouldn't be able to go overboard by accident because she was 5'5", 5'6", and that banister was about 46 inches high. At that point, it was too high for her to just accidentally go over. Okay, so here's what I think cruise ships should do moving forward. Has anyone here started a new job, whether it be corporate or what, and you have to sit and watch a harassment video? Have you guys ever had to do that? Where you start a new job and you have to watch the company's anti-harassment, stuff like that. Like you have to watch those videos. Have you guys ever had to do that? Okay. I believe what cruise ships should, like an orientation. Yep. I believe what cruise ships should do is before you embark onto the cruise ship, they should be sending you a video link that is a quick 1 minute, hi, my name is Joe Schmo from the Royal Caribbean Rhapsody of the Seas, and we can't wait to have you on our ship cruising from here to here. Please remember to always be aware of your surroundings, and please make sure that you stay in well-lit areas, cover your drinks, and please stay in a group. Never travel alone on these islands. Yes, they're beautiful, but every island has their nefarious side. So please stay safe and have fun, and we're looking forward to welcoming you on Rhapsody of the Seas. See, I just made that up as I went. But it's okay, New Hampshire Mother, if people don't listen to it. The fact that the safety measures are there and in place, that's all that matters. Because then what you can do is, as the ship, you can say, hey, listen, we already sent this to you. We sent this to you already. You should have known what to do here. We sent it. At that point, it removes liability off of them, right? So I think that's what they should be doing. Things like that. You know, and listen, I know none of us don't. Listen, I watched all the harassment videos when I started new jobs. Yeah, you kind of sit here like this and you look around. If you're like me, you eat while you're watching it because you're not really paying attention to it. You just kind of start eating, whatever. But at least it's there, okay? At least it's there. So that's what I think they should do. Guys, a whole bunch of new followers there. Thank you so much. You guys come in like these little clusters. So thank you guys for all... Thank you all for the new followers. If you haven't followed yet, please consider following. I appreciate the support. It means a lot, guys. Thank you. Can you talk about the cameras and how the footage became unavailable or lots of people are asking about it? No problem. So, yes, so a lot of people were asking about it. That's true. They were asking about how come there's no camera footage? How come we can't see anything? Like if Amy was moving around, walking around... Linda, how come we can't see this camera footage? How come we don't know what's happening? How come we couldn't see her moving out and about? Well, that morning, the camera footage wasn't recording. And I'm going to leave it at that. I will say the day before it was recording and the day after it was recording, but the day that she went missing, appreciate you, Jenny B, it wasn't recording. I'm going to leave it at that. Yes, Fizzy, I'll do that in 1 second. 100% Gigi. And Gigi, I don't know if it was you or Emily or both of you. You guys were mentioning earlier, I was reading. Because guys, if you guys don't know, I read all of your comments. Even though it's hard for me to respond when there's 800 of you, I do my best to interact with all of you. And I always go back and look at them. And I talk with my mods after the fact about the comments and the questions. So I do pay attention to the questions, guys. If I don't answer them, I do pay attention. But I don't know if it was you, Gigi, or if it was you, Emily, but they said something like you kind of like don't know if someone's, going to harm themselves or unalive themselves. They sometimes keep it in. And that is 100% a factual statement. I want to make sure that you know that I heard you and I saw you. And I agree with you that yes, someone could want to unalive themselves, but not give us the hints that they're going to. I think mental health is silent, and I 100% agree with those statements that you made. You are completely in line with those statements. However, in Amy's situation, she did way too many things that led us to believe that her life wasn't going in a positive trajectory and had a lot of positive things happening, where she didn't give me the inkling that it was going in a different different trajectory that would make her want to harm herself. But I want to be very clear, Emily or Gigi, what you said, your statements there are valid, and I saw them, and I appreciate it. Just know that I did see it. So yeah, the cameras were not rolling on that day. Don't know why, but I'm going to leave that one where it is. It was not rolling. Fizzy, you're welcome, Gigi. So Fizzy, you asked a question about the third theory. So here's the third theory. This is the theory. Remember, guys, I said there's two theories, and there's one theory that I actually brought it up, I think it was yesterday or the day before for the first time. I want to go into it. But theory one, she went overboard. Whether she went overboard on her own, but we don't know. Number two, the theory is she was abducted or she was kidnapped. That's theory number two. Are we sure she wasn't just presenting a good life? Christy, that's a good point, but she was going out of her way, Christy, to buy postcards and buy gifts and memorabilia to bring home to her ex-girlfriend. If she was just presenting things, I don't think she would have went out of her way to that point, if that makes sense. So here's the third theory. And Amy and Jenny Lynn, if you could leave that comment there of Alyssa, because I don't think I've answered her questions today. Alyssa, I'm going to get you right after this. Here's the third theory. Third theory is she walked off on her own. She walked off the ship on her own. She was going to grab coffee, maybe grab cigarettes. Maybe she was just talking to some people, and they didn't match. They didn't meet up. Like, they kept missing each other. Everyone thought that she was missing. She had no idea that she was missing. She was just, walking around waiting for her family. Then she's trying to find the family, and they miss each other. That's the third theory. It could have literally have been very accidental. Again, it's just a theory, guys. It doesn't mean it's true. It's just a theory. But that's something that I have looked at. So, other tourists did not physically see her, Shyla. They were alleged. Do they interview every cruise ship employee? I know it's a lot, but so is a missing person. So to answer you, Alyssa, no, they did not interview all cruise ship employees. from what we understand, the FBI has the employee manifest, so they know how many employees and who they were that were working on the case. Working on the ship. But they didn't interview all of them. They only talked to like a couple of people. What happened after that? Was it Becky that asked that question? What happened after that? That's where things go up in the air. She could have, I think if there was any kind of trafficking or abduction or kidnapping, it happened at that point. She was walking around, stuff like that. But she was taken at that point. And Emily, you said a lot of celebrities present and have a good life, for example, Robin Williams. So Emily, something you don't know maybe about Robin Williams is he might have presented it, but he talked to his close friends and family and they saw him struggling. If you watched any documentaries on Robin Williams, he would literally just go cry in a corner. He would just be alone. He would drink. He would do rugs. There was signs that Robin Williams wasn't okay. There were signs. Now, maybe a lot of the people don't know that, but there's signs to that. And it's not that he presented his life perfectly and he harmed himself. There were definite signs there. If she walked off on the ship, why wouldn't she just come back on her own? The reason she wouldn't come back on her own is I think at some point when she was off the ship, that's when the actual kidnapping abduction actually took place. That's why I believe she wouldn't walk back on her own. When I said like she was walking around, like she could have been looking around and they were looking around and stuff like that, and they just missed each other. But I think at that point, at some stage, she was taken. Gigi, when I was a purser, it was like upstairs, downstairs. The lower positions had a different life. 100%, Gigi. It's just like the Titanic, Gigi, right? Like you were on a cruise ship, like right? Hey, Ashley. Just like the Titanic, like the way people live from here up on the Titanic is like laps of luxury, enjoying their life, having a great time. But from here down, it's miserable down there. You saw what it was like. It was the crew members area. It was loud. It was obnoxious. There was rats and water everywhere. Like it's not like it was at the top. So completely agree, and I think that makes a lot of sense. All the new followers, guys, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Again, guys, if you haven't followed, please consider following now. Your support means a lot. Thank you, guys. There was a question up there, but it looks like, Amy, you put that up there, so I think I kind of lost it. Oh, there it is. The tourist lady said she interacted with her in the bathroom in the bathroom on land, and she said her name was Amy. So, Shiloh, the reason I don't believe Judy in Barbados is because I don't really believe that she spoke with Amy. The biggest issue I have with Judy is that she said, I saw her getting taken away with men. Like the men took her away. And my husband saw her too. Number one, we haven't spoken to your husband, so we don't know. So it's a hearsay statement. Number two, you said you have a daughter. Now, you probably didn't have a daughter then. But why didn't you're a woman. Why didn't you call the police? Why didn't you make an anonymous statement and say, hey, look, I know this might not mean anything, but I saw a woman clearly being held against her will in Barbados at this restaurant around this time. You could have made an anonymous tip. You could have done something. No one did anything. And that's the biggest problem. And Shiloh, I believe William Hefner, the Navy officer, more than I believe everybody else. But I'll talk about him in a minute. Do you believe the sightings of her, like at the brothel in Barbados, are credible? Actually, low-key in case I'm actually answering that right now. I think the only one I agree with or I believe is the Navy officer, William Hefner. That's the only one I believe. Maybe she did, and they didn't do anything. Some islands officials are corrupted. Yeah, I mean, that's valid too. That's 100% valid as well, 100%. But yeah, I believe William Hefner, but I do believe that he left out a lot of key information, and I have no problem going into that if you guys want me to. I wonder if Amy left her family a note to let them know that she was going, and the cleaners got rid of it. Yeah, Alyssa, but I think the family would have found that note if that was the case. They probably would have looked all over the room for this note. She wouldn't have put the note on the balcony because, again, with like the wind, it would have blown away. If she did leave a note, I think the family would have found it. Now, does that mean that she didn't leave one? No. But I just think that they would have found it if she did honestly leave a note. So, Shiloh, we can't just send the Navy SEALs or the Army Rangers or Delta Force. If you guys don't know, those are all different military organizations. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. A crime has to be committed, and it has to be proven that the crime has been committed. When it's international, there's Interpol and all these other things. Without that, there's no jurisdiction. You can't just send the Delta Force, Army Rangers, Navy SEALs. You can't just do it. Just because she's an American citizen, Shiloh, the fact that it happened on international waters, I can tell you right now, it doesn't matter if you're a U.S. citizen. When it's international waters, it doesn't matter. Your rights are stripped. So the Army guy, the Navy guy, William Hefner. The Navy guy, I believe he only gave us like 40% of the story. Lux, nothing yet. He only gave us 40%. Shiloh, we don't know if Amy's being held against her will. We're only assuming that. That's why I think a lot of people don't know. Like, people are like, oh, a crime has been committed. She was taken. We actually don't know that. The fact is, we don't know if she's being held against her will. She could be living a regular life right now and is fine. So, but what I wanted to say is I believe that William Hefner, the Navy officer, only gave us certain bits of information. He didn't give us everything. Hey, Liz, for example, he mentioned her eyes. And the eyes, he said, are bright green. I always remembered that. And if her eyes are bright green and you know that for a fact, then how do you explain the fact that you spoke with her in a brothel? It's usually very dimly lit in there. This is a very well-lit picture of Amy Bradley, and look at the color of her eyes. They clearly look brown or dark, right? The fact that he said that her eyes were green, he said, like, when I saw her eyes on the news article or in the newspaper, it's more the fact that, wait a minute, how did you know that? How did you know her eyes were that green? To me, you purchased her. And to me, that's the only way that you would have known that her eyes were that green. Unless you lied completely. So that's how I look at it. I think he purchased her, and he has no reason to say it. Just so you guys don't know, if you guys didn't know, he couldn't tell the truth years ago because he would lose his pension with the Navy. And if you guys didn't know this, it can still be taken away today. So if he comes out today, like Sissy, like you said, can they make him talk now, Sissy S? If he even brings it up now, they can strip him. They can strip him of his pension. They can still do that to him. And that would explain why he's not talking about it. And someone a second ago, I know the comment went away, but someone a second ago did say, why couldn't they split up and have 2 people on the island and 1 people on the ship? Well, number 1, there's strength in numbers, so you want to be all together. Number 2, it's always going to be a lot safer if everybody is together. 1 person staying on the ship is not going to be safe. Having 2 people on the island together, not going to be as safe. You'd want to have everybody together just for safety reasons. What is the requirement to live in Curacao? You can live there if you want. You just have to have residency, but you can live there. Yeah, 100%. Crime Talk, I just brought this up. I literally just talked about this. Brad mentioned that he only mentioned that the shoes were there because of because cruise ship attorneys and the cruise ship security were the ones that said that they were there. He said, we never, ever saw them. But what I can do, to be fair, is I can ask him that question. I can ask him that question and be like, hey, just so you know, this has been brought up a couple of times. I can ask him that question. I can let you guys know what he says. Read Melissa Ann's comment. I don't know where it is. How far back is Melissa Ann's comment? You're going to make me scroll back? Didn't you find the message in a bottle weird, though? It was relatable. I think it was the message in a bottle. So, no, Amy, I don't think Amy remembers being Amy. I think that's a part of her life that is like buried deep in her subconscious mind. The message in a bottle thing, a lot of people keep bringing up the message in a bottle. I just think it was coincidental. Appreciate you, Simple Beauty. I just think it was coincidental. I don't think it had anything to do with it. She wasn't going to just, let her know that, that I'm going to unalive myself. I believe that was her way of saying, I'm gay. My family accepts me, but I don't know if I completely feel accepted. So I feel like I'm on an island all by myself. I feel like I'm, floating away or whatever she said. I just think she was just speaking her mind. I don't think there's any relevance to it. I do think it was absolutely coincidental. I do, almost too coincidental. But it does show that she was going through some stuff, just like Crime Talk you just said. But it doesn't mean she's going through enough stuff to throw herself overboard at all. It just doesn't. Crime Talk, I will ask him about the cigarettes. Yeah, I mean, it could have been romantic, but remember, guys, I think people forget, and I see a lot of comments, people like really stuck on this message in a bottle. Could it, Crime Talk? Yes, it could, but it doesn't line up. You know, she missed her ex-girlfriend. She cheated on her ex-girlfriend. She wanted to be back together with that ex-girlfriend. So she's pretty much saying, I'm alone. I'm alone in this world. I feel like I'm alone unless I have you. You know, I feel like I'm stranded on an island with, like, she's pretty much saying, I feel like I'm alone without you. Like, I think a lot of people keep talking about one thing and one thing only. But, you know, I think, you know, I think we have to be more open-minded. I'm noticing a lot of, like, I wouldn't say narrow-minded. I think that's Ron is saying. I think it's disrespectful for me to say. I wouldn't say people are, but I think a lot of people have tunnel vision. And I think we have to remove the tunnel vision. I'm noticing a lot of tunnel vision comments. You have to think outside the box. You know, if Ron said I saw her cigarettes were missing, then we need to be clear. Did you see the cigarettes were missing? And what time did you see them missing? Like, those are things that have to be cleared up. But as I told you guys, Brad and I will be going live shortly. Not today, but we will be going live. And these are some of the questions that we will be answering. So I don't mind. I have a list of questions. I'm going to add the cigarette one as well. I have a list of questions that we'll be asking Brad live. So we'll get some answers there. Guys, any final questions before we flip to the final case that we're going to be following? I think the guy next to him, DD, was just like a weird guy. I just think he was a weird guy that liked to hook up with women on cruise ships. I don't think he's anything to be worried about. Oh, 100%. It's just that one side was water. I don't think it can be ruled out 100%. So, Gigi, nothing can be ruled out. No theory should be ruled out. That's why, like, a lot of times when people come to me and they're like, hey, did you hear this other creator? This is what they're saying. I go, okay. Like, nothing can be ruled out. No possibility should be ruled out. No theory should be ruled out. We have to look at all theories. That is the only way we're going to get answers. We have to look at all the theories. All of them. No theories can be ruled out. People think she went overboard? Well, let's investigate it. People think that she was thrown overboard. Let's investigate it. People think that she was taken. Let's investigate it. No theory is off limits. The Tic Tacs, I'm seeing a lot of things about Tic Tacs. Hey, Linda, a lot of things about Tic Tacs. I just think it was coincidental that there were Tic Tacs there. I don't think, I don't think there was anything really crazy there. I just think that he saw Tic Tacs and kind of put some pieces together, but I just think it was coincidental. Just like the yellow shirt on the chair. Everyone's like, oh, yellow's involved because it was a yellow shirt was there. Like, guys, do you really think Amy's gonna be like, hey, by the way, if someone takes me against my will for the rest of my life, here's a yellow shirt. I want you guys to pick up on it. No. Like, I just think she was wearing a yellow shirt that night and she took it off because she was hot. Like, I think a lot of people keep looking into little details a little too much. Look into them, that's fine. But I don't think Amy was like, oh, let me just take this off. Just in case anything happens to me, this is a hint. I don't think so. Brother hearing her voice while searching, but stating once in the car and once while walking. So, Raquel, let me, appreciate you, Dupree. Let me end this specific segment of the live with Amy Bradley and Ashley Barnett. Let me end it with your question. Amy and Jenny Lynn, I'm going to end Amy Bradley and Ashley Barnett specifically with this statement here. So, Raquel, I hear what you're saying. You said the brother's hearing her voice while searching, then once in the car, once walking. I will say this. Netflix did not do a great job letting us know. I get you, Raquel. I get you. Letting us know when this was all happening. I do believe Brad feels that he did hear her voice. However, I don't think it was actually her voice. I think his mind was playing tricks on him. If your sister just went missing or something happened to your sister and you're just thinking like my sister, and you're thinking of her voice, you're thinking about things, he did clarify it, Raquel, yes. Your mind's going to play games on you and you're going to be like, hey, Brad. And she's like, oh my God, I heard my sister. Like he probably truthfully 125% feels and believes that he heard her voice. Whereas I'm looking at it on the outside, on the neutral side, I'm like, yeah, you probably thought you heard it, but you probably, like, it really didn't happen. But it's essentially your mind playing a trick on you. So what he ended up doing is how he was able to, you know, I think at that point, like with Netflix and how Netflix portrayed it, was that he was driving, he was walking. He was like, no, it was always the same way. We were in a car. It was always the same way. He goes, but the way that it was broken up, it made it look like it was two different places. And the reason why he clarified that with me is because, like, I was one that was like, wait a minute, why did he say this? Then he said this. You know what I mean? So he did clarify that. That's what I thought. Calm and no interview pressure. I feel he'd be able to remember better. Yeah, so he was able to remember that better. You're welcome, Raquel. And he was able to remember what he heard. But again, we are only able to see what we're allowed to see through these documentaries. They only allow us to see certain things. So, all right, guys, I'm going to switch for about 15 minutes to a new case. And it's not really like so new, but I've been talking about it. But I'm going to do a quick switch. If you haven't followed Jet, guys, and you're just kind of listening in, please consider following. I greatly appreciate, guys, your support. It means a lot. We will be live later on today with Ashley's brother, Seth Barnett. She was the other female that was in the picture that I had up. We will be live at 8 p.m. tonight with him. Now, Maura Murray. This is a big one. And it's big because it happened an hour away from me. It's also big because we have no answers. But this is a big thing that I want to chat about. There is some information I want to give you guys. And there's a bunch of you on right now. And I want to make sure that you guys all hear the newer information. Did everyone get an opportunity to look at my recent story? Yes or no? Yes. By the way, the live later on with Seth will 100% be recorded. Yes. If you guys have not seen my story, my recent story, okay, can you guys all confirm that I've said for the last couple of weeks that I believe that the damage done to Maura Murray's vehicle was done by a police cruiser, specifically the push bar right here, right? Can we all confirm that I've been saying that for the last 2 weeks? Okay. Can we also confirm that I said for the last 2 weeks, and there's a reason why I'm doing this, can we also confirm that I said over the last 2 weeks that the damage that's right here, the impact zone, I said that it's something that happened of a bigger vehicle, because look at the bumper. There's no damage to that bumper. A couple scrapes, but no damage. You guys ready for me to put this all together now? Can I all agree? Perfect. All right. Can we all agree on that? Great. Now, are you guys ready for me to put this all together? There we go. If you guys saw my recent video or my recent story, her sister Julie finally did get back in touch with me. She did. She messaged me. We were talking actually this morning. Take a look at my recent story. She put a video out yesterday that said that she brought a professional crash reconstructionist to Concord, New Hampshire, where the state police still has custody of Maura's vehicle, and said there is no damage to that bumper at all, which means whatever hit her was a bigger vehicle. No damage to that bumper. I took it upon myself to send her some of the information that I gathered, and then I looked at her story, and she confirmed it. So you can look at it after, Adriana, after we log off the live. But she's already confirmed that the crash reconstructionist came in and said it's not a tree, it's not an animal, it's not a guardrail, it's not a person. It was nothing. Why? You're welcome, Adriana. Let me go back to the picture. Right there. There was no dash cam back then, Alyssa. Nope. Not a tree, not a guardrail, not a snowbank, not a person, not an animal. Why? There's no blood for an animal or a person. There's no blood, there's no hair, there's no skin tissue, there's no fur. So that proves that. There's no guardrail, because if she hit a guardrail, guys, right here, if she hit a guardrail, the bumper would have had damage. She didn't hit a tree because we would have had damage straight here. Boom. it would have affected the bumper. So it wasn't a guardrail. And lastly, and certainly most, and not least, if she hit a person or even an animal, that animal would have made its way onto the hood and then shattered, and it wouldn't have like caved in, but shattered the windshield. Shattered the windshield. So how do we know? Where are we going with this? It's someone that has something that's higher. Something higher hit Maura Murray. Now, we don't know who it was. This wasn't bent, by the way. This is actually, this that you guys see here, this like bend, that's actually the Saturn. That's the way the hood is designed. This here and here, those aren't dents or anything. That's how the Saturn is designed, just in case you guys didn't know. Raquel, I appreciate you. So, oh, look at the edge. Ricky, can you, it's kind of hard. Oh, you talking about this right here, Ricky? My boy, Ricky Spanish. Are you talking about this? I just want to make sure I'm talking about the right thing. Yeah, so this here is going to happen because this was pushed in. The impact zone is here, and it's going to push this in which case cause this to buckle. So that's why you have damage here. Because whatever she hit here caused a specific amount of damage to push it back. Now, does that make sense? Yes, Miss Antonia, I can. Guys, before I do this final recap of Maura Murray, real quick, we will be live later on. I have a few videos specifically that I'm going to be putting out that I'm holding off on. There's a reason why, but I'm going to kind of keep it kind of hush-hush and close to the vest for now. Raquel, I appreciate you recently following. Guys, real quick, before I do the recap, quick vulnerable moment here. Hopefully you guys are all listening, and hopefully you guys are, like zoned in on me real quick. Vulnerable moment. Before I go into Maura Murray, vulnerable moment. I just want to take the time to thank you guys for, you guys know, last month, my account was hacked. Laugh and Grind was hacked. I had almost 50,000 followers, and I was so excited. It was just great. Like, I was so happy. People were saying hi to me. It was awesome. And the fact that in 1 month's time, where we are where we're at today is incredible. And I have to thank all of you. Seeing new people, Raquel, you being one of them. Ricky, you're another one recently on the new side, right? Just seeing you guys communicate with me means everything. Amy, right? You guys mean everything. I've seen a lot of new names. Appreciate you, Alyssa. But I love the fact that you guys are chatting with me. I appreciate you guys are challenging me. Understand this. Josephine, you're new too. Understand this, guys. Just know if Heather, you're so new. You're about as new as a belly button. But just know this, guys. If you don't agree with what I have to say or anything like that, I am completely okay. I'm a big boy. I can handle it. All I ask is stay respectful, and 99% of you do that. And so I appreciate you. Appreciate you, Ayla, or Isla. But again, I'm not the forum that if I don't agree with you that I tell you to leave. Nope. I just say, hey, be respectful. Poor Nina. So just know that, guys. Like, that's how I operate. Anna and Nina, well, Anna, I gave Anna a couple chances to tell us what was going on. And she didn't play nice, 100%. Like, I gave her chances. Multiple. So it is what it is. But anyways, guys, I wanted an opportunity just to thank you. There's a bunch of you that recently followed, and in the last month, you guys have made it to the point where, like, it means a lot. So thank you, guys. I do appreciate it. Nina, you do play nice. And all the new followers, guys, thank you so much. My goal is to bring as much awareness and answers to the families. When it comes down to Maura, I did speak with her sister, Julie, this morning. I asked about her dad. No, Grind doesn't get emotional until we hang up. And I was like, I'm cool. Sorry, my dog just looked at me like I was stupid. I did speak with Julie this morning, Julie Murray this morning. I asked about her dad. She said, Dad's doing great. Thank you so much for asking. He lifts weights every day and walks every day, but not a day that goes by that he doesn't ask and think about Maura. And I said, I know. I said, look, I'm going to do my best to bring the answers to you and give you guys closure that you guys need and deserve. I said, hop in the live, say hello, whatever it is. I said, but, just be on the lookout that you have another person in your corner. So I will find answers. You guys know I've done it for Karen Reed. You guys know I've done it with Amy Bradley. And I'm actually in the process of doing it for Ashley Barnett as well. You guys will know that with Seth later on tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I will get answers for Maura. So it 100% is going to happen. Now, the recap that I promised you 3.5 minutes ago. This is Maura Murray. And Maura, how many hours? Wait, what? Raquel, what did you say? How many hours? Well, right now it's 6 hours and 45 minutes from now is when I'm going live. I don't know where you guys are located, but it's 6 hours and 45 minutes from now, I think. And yes, it will be recorded, Daniela. It will be recorded no matter what. 100%. Oh, you're the UK? I think you're like 6 hours ahead of me, but it will be recorded. Yes, it'll be 8 p.m. Eastern time. That is Boston, Massachusetts time. If you're Central, it'll be 1 hour back. If you're in the UK, sweet dreams, but it will be recorded. It will be recorded. Now, Maura Murray. Here is the Maura Murray recap. Maura went missing February 9th, 2004. She left UMass Amherst. Don't know why, but she left UMass Amherst. She went to the ATM. She withdrew her money. Me too, Lisa. She pretty much depleted her account. She was going for a ride. She ended up getting into some form of accident or car wreck in Haverhill, New Hampshire around 7:30 at night on February 9th. A few of you were asking questions about her cell phone, stuff like that. According to Julie Murray, which is Maura's sister, she said we have zero information regarding her phone after 4:30 in the afternoon. So 3 hours prior to her, this disappearance, she said the last information we have on the phone is at 4:30 p.m. Jayla, this was 2004. She essentially vanished without a trace. From what we understand, there was one person that spoke with her, and that would be Block. She is taken away from the facts. I don't know, Bev Goins, I don't know what you're saying there. Was one person that allegedly spoke to her, and his name was Butch Atwood. He was the bus driver. However, we don't know why she emptied her account, Nina. We don't know. We do know that she was looking at Bartlett, New Hampshire, to stay. She was looking at Stowe, Vermont as well. She was looking at all these locations. We don't know why, but I also know that she was going through some pretty tough stuff. She got into an accident in her dad's car not the day before or 2 days before, costing almost 10 grand. Her sister, Kathleen, who's now passed away, relapsed from alcohol. Her boyfriend cheated on her like a year or two prior, but they were still kind of back and forth. And she had this weird alleged intimate relationship with her cross-country track coach. So, Raquel, what I'm referring to is at 4:30 in the afternoon was the last known thing to happen on her phone. She had a conversation with someone for like 7 minutes, but the number wasn't saved. And that was it. We don't know anything else. And that's where we're at. Whitney is definitely here. So that's where we're at. So Butch Atwood is the bus driver. Data. Yep. So Butch Atwood was the bus driver, and a lot of people point the finger at Butch. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think Butch Atwood is the guy. I don't think he's the guy. And here's the reason why I don't think so. Ricky, I'll get into that. The reason I don't think Butch Atwood is the guy is because he was part of the reason why 911 was called. Him and his wife, when he went home, his wife called 911 in front of him. If he were to do something wrong, he wouldn't have called it in and initiated emergency response. He also wouldn't have taken 2 lie detector tests, in which case one he actually passed. The other one was inconclusive. It wasn't that he failed, it was inconclusive. But he eventually passed it. Yeah, the guy. Yeah, Heather, we all got a guy, right? He wouldn't have told his wife, correct, Adrian. He wouldn't have assisted the police with finding her. He wouldn't have initiated emergency response with 911. And he also assisted with the cops afterwards to help look for her. To me, he did way too many things to help for me to even consider that he was involved negatively. Was any more found out about the number on the piece of paper in the car that Julie called. They didn't answer me. Yeah, there was nothing on that. Nothing more from what I understand. Rebecca, on the disappearance of Maura, they mentioned that she was in trouble for stealing money. So Rebecca, she actually got in trouble twice. So she actually got in trouble for, appreciate you, Josie. I love the glasses. She actually got in trouble at West Point, and she got in trouble for stealing makeup. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Daria. And guys, if you guys don't know, like, I pay attention to all you guys. Like, I don't care how many followers I have. Even when I had 50,000 almost, I remembered all of you. Daria said yesterday, she's in the UK. She said yesterday that lipstick isn't makeup. I think it's makeup. I mean, what the hell do I know? But she got in trouble for like stealing lipstick or something like that. Tennessee AT. But she got in trouble for stealing that. So she was already in trouble there. Plus, she actually got in trouble at UMass Amherst. Is it makeup? I don't know. I haven't worn makeup in years, guys. I just haven't. Just kidding. But truthfully, she also got in trouble at UMass Amherst because she stole something that was like under $250, or she used a credit card or something to like buy food or something, but it was under $250. So she got in trouble for that. So she had a little kleptomaniac mindset going on. Whatever. But yeah, she had that going on. She had a lot of stuff going on with nursing school. She had a lot of stress there. Like I said, she did transfer from West Point to UMass Amherst. That's a culture shock in and in itself. And on top of that, her sister Kathleen, that she was very close to, relapsed from alcohol. And so really, really sad, but she had a lot of things going on. Liz, I think she was taken. I think she got into a vehicle with someone that she trusted, and I believe that she was taken. 100%, guys, I believe she was taken. The lady at the subway is now super interested in this story. I told her your name. Appreciate you, Ayla. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your what? Come on, everyone should know this. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your what? I'll wait. I know you guys are going to send emojis. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your what? Come on. There it is. Your hamsters. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your hamsters. Tell everybody. Your mother. Yeah, tell your mother. You can tell your mother too, but tell your hamsters. That's it. Or hamsters. Sounds so weird. So guys, quick thing before my aunt are happy. Someone still cares about it. 100%, Ricky. 100%. So guys, real quick before I hop off, I have one more thing I want to say. Never heard of that, Melissa Ann? It's me. Yeah, tell your mother. No, your mother. Just kidding. One more thing. Ayla, tell her to follow and hop in the lives. I'd love to talk to her. She can be the subway woman. One more thing, guys, before I go. One more thing. We do know we have a live with Seth Barnett tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time. That's Northeast United States time, Massachusetts time. That's in exactly 6 hours and 38 minutes from now. Okay? Last, I will be doing a random surprise live today at 4 p.m. I'd say probably 4:30 p.m. That's in exactly 3 hours from now. It's going to be a very, very random live. 4:30 p.m. is going to be a very random live. We're going to be live at 4:30 p.m. today. That's in 3 hours, 3.5 hours. I'm only going to say it once. It's going to be a surprise. Now, Christina's yelling at me. Christina, why are you yelling at me? Finish your story. She took money out, got in an accident, and wasn't there in a vehicle. Stop yelling at me, Christina. So yes, she took the money out of the ATM. She got into the accident, and all of her information and all of her money, all that stuff was on her person, as we would say, is on her person. It was never found. It was on her person. So that's, Christina, that's why, guys, I believe the police were involved. There's only one person. I'm going to end this live with this, guys. Honestly, if you haven't followed Jet, guys, please consider following now before I hop off. Greatly appreciate it because this is a really big point. So again, if you're on the fence, get off the fence and start following now because we have a great couple of lives coming up. Here's the thing, Christina. Here's why it was about $300. I think it was like $280 to $300. Here's why it's important. Let me ask you guys a question. I'm going to end this live with a series of pulse check questions. Here it is right here. Here it is. This girl is 21 years old. She's 21 years old. She's by herself, okay? She's by herself on a back road in New Hampshire. By yes or no, do you think she would feel comfortable getting onto a school bus with a random guy? Yes or no? 21-year-old woman by herself, back road in New Hampshire. Yes or no? Do you think she would feel comfortable getting onto a school bus with a random guy? Yes or no? Okay, answer is no. Do you guys think she would get into another strange person's vehicle, just a regular person, by herself on a back road, 7:30 at night, pitch black with woods in New Hampshire, a regular vehicle? Answer is no. Here it is. But do you think she'd feel comfortable getting into a police vehicle in the middle at 7:30 at night by herself? Someone maybe she could trust? That's where I think she went. I think she went into a police vehicle. And 100%, Hipman says 100%. If I didn't answer you, I'm sorry. That's why I believe the police were involved. The police were the ones, in my opinion, that picked her up. And I also let Julie Murray know I'm going to work with her daily. She'll respond to me when she can. But I'm going to also go to this spot. Why do you think she's not with the U.S. Army? She just didn't want that world. She didn't want that world. I'm going to go to the spot of where the accident took place. It's like an hour and 8 minutes from me. I'm going to go. Oh, okay. I was just wondering, I'm going to go to that location where it happened. Okay. The BLOOD in the closet, because you can't really say the word. It did come back to a male and female, but they said they couldn't tell what the female was because it was too deteriorated. But the fact that there was human red substances in a closet leads me to believe that something nefarious occurred over there. So, but I will make sure I will go to that crash site. I will take pictures of it. I will take videos of it. I will do content there. I don't know if I'll be able to go live there because there's like no service there apparently, but I will do my absolute best. So guys, I got to hop off. I'm going to go into the police theory later on at 4:30 p.m. That's in 3 hours from now. All the new followers, guys, thank you so much. If you haven't followed yet, do it now before we hang up. I appreciate it. My lunch went a little over. It's the end of the quarter, so I got a lot going on. So again, if you haven't followed yet, do it now. I will be live randomly in exactly 3 hours. That's 4 hours. That's 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I appreciate every single one of you, the new followers, the conversations. I appreciate you. Means a lot. We will still be live at 8 p.m. with Seth Barnett covering Ashley Barnett's story later on. Hot Mess Mom, I appreciate you. Guys, have a good rest of your afternoon, and we'll talk soon. Bye.